All right. Hey, team. I would like to take you through what we're actually looking at when we look at our feedback report from turnitin.com. I've suggested to you already that this can be a really helpful tool for you to review your work before it gets to a teacher. And specifically, you can check if you've introduced your quotes properly, cited any evidence properly. Maybe you have not really paraphrased well and you need to revisit that and rework that. So I have an example paper here, and I'm going to take you through the Originality report. You'll see right here there's a 32. That is the percentage that is, one moment please. All right, so this 32 indicates the percentage of essentially source material that is that this tool identifies. So what we're going to do is it's going to highlight all the pieces that they say comes from something else, and we're just going to figure out if any of those highlights look funky. And as we look through this, I'll sort of explain to you what funky might be. All right, so we click on that and it gives you kind of a breakdown. And this is less really important at the moment. I would more divert your eyes to the left. And let's go to the beginning of the paper. All right. This looks okay. I wonder where that came from. Wikipedia. Okay, second largest government. It's I mean, it looks like this person kind of changed some words. This might benefit from just a little bit more cleaning it up. To me, it's not a flag. It's not really an issue. But I think there are some ways that you can maybe chop it up a bit so you're not really just looks like taking out new words, putting in different words. But maybe if you made Western fast fashion brands the subject of the sentence, it would sort of restructure the sentence in such a way where you wouldn't have what looks like, a little segment with one word popped out. All right, so something that, you could strengthen it, and at the same time, it wouldn't really be flagged for academic dishonesty. This, you have a little bit of a text, but at the same time, Rana Plaza collapse killed more than 1,100 people and injured more than 2,600. Yeah. Again, you probably could chop this up a bit, but at the same time, it's pretty benign language. It's sort of just relating an event. Okay, workers are being abused. This part, yeah, you do have some stylistic idiosyncrasies here with the dash and the sorts of abuse that are laid out and in this order. So this is very obviously from some different source. I can't really tell if there is a quotation mark behind there, but there should be also a quotation mark right here. And that's the sort of thing that this tells you. And you see, like, you have, yeah, that's perfect. You have the period, close quote, footnote, and this should be highlighted because it's someone else's words. But it looks like they might be missing quotes there. So that's going to tell you, oops, I need my quote there. And, also, if you want to also look at and review how you've introduced quotes, here we have a nice dependent clause. All right. Also, just FYI, as I look at this, footnotes should not have spaces between them. Like your bibliography has spaces between them, your footnotes should not have spaces between them. These are nice looking footnotes, though. All right. Let's keep moving. Here we go. We got another extended piece of text, and correctly so, it's in quotation marks. That's what we should see. When we see big chunks of text that are lit up, it should have quotes around it. It's introduced properly. It's got the proper stuff after that with the period, close quote, footnote. Sometimes it highlights strange things like the. Not a concern. It might even highlight your last name, especially if you have a last name that's fairly typical, like my own, MacDonald. This looks good. See, something funky happened here, and I think it's because of this weird space, but that link should have gone up to the top. But anyway, there should not be a space there, by the way. Okay, so we got a piece that's lit up again. It has quotation marks. Perfect. Let's see if we have anything else. Yeah, and that looks good. So with this paper, we probably identified some things that we could probably strengthen a little bit. Were they red flags? No, not at all. But you can see how this tool can be used, right? Because if you're seeing that in your own paper that you have a big chunk that is highlighted and there are no quotation marks, that is a flag to you that you need to get those quotation marks around that, or track that source down, make sure that you got it down correctly and you properly quote it, right? Or conversely, like up here, you can see how this could be a little bit nastier if you were working with a larger paraphrase and you had this sort of gray that went on. Maybe, random words might be in white, but then you see more gray. All right, you need to really rework that paraphrase, because that's the sort of thing that I'm going to look at. And I want to make sure that it's your voice in there and not someone else's. All right, this is another one. You might have reworked it. Again, with this, something like this, a piece of data like a collapse killing 1,100 people. There's not a ton of different ways to restate that. So, I use common sense, but at the same time, if there are ways that you can work it and change it toward your own language, that's good. All right, so just looking through one more time. This looks good. All right, so hopefully this gives you some insight on what you're really looking for when you do look at your originality report. And 32 might initially seem like a big number to you. Just FYI, as I do this, I always keep the footnotes and the bib on too, so it highlights this stuff. These should be highlighted. If there are parts that are not highlighted, I would actually look at it and say, did I make a mistake? Did I get the author wrong? Did I do something wrong, right? And the bib as well. So yeah, here I'm wondering, oh, this is the last accessed. So that's why this might be a little bit different. I wonder if they forgot a P here. Is that Thomson Reuters? But anyway, interesting things to look at. Things that are not highlighted when you think they might be. So 32. It means that this person used evidence. You might just not be proud of your 0% because then what evidence did you ultimately use? If I see a really small percentage, even if you're summarizing, paraphrasing evidence, nevertheless, there should be evidence in there. So 32 might seem high, but it's a good number. It's a strong number. It means they've used a lot of evidence. That's good. But there really aren't hard and fast numbers, really. If you're getting over 50, I might have to pump the brakes, but that's really rare. All right. Signing off.